Good evening and welcome to Weekend News on the SLBC. I am Kojo Kwafo. Coming up in this edition of the Weekend News, President Bio presents a strong case for investment opportunities in Sierra Leone at the third Africa-Turkey Summit. The IOM Sierra Leone highlights dangers of illegal migration to mark this year's United Nations International Migrants Day. And the Sierra Leone People's Party delegates in KAMBIA and PORTLOKO districts through their support behind BATILO SONGA. More news and details are lined up in this edition of the Weekend News, but first our coronavirus preventive message. Coronavirus is still around and it's deadly. Please always put on your face mask and don't forget to take your vaccine. Now, President Julius Maada Bio has joined other African heads of states in the third Africa-Turkey Partnership Summit hosted by the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The two-day summit, which spanned from the 16th to the 18th of December, was convened on the theme Enhanced Partnership for Common Development and Prosperity. Here's the rest of the report.
President Julius Maada Bio presented a strong case for investment opportunities in Sierra Leone, calling for the launch of a new stage in Turkish relations with the African Union and African countries. He said that his government has put in place investment-friendly tax incentives and policies, streamline processes for expediting the establishment and protection of interests of credible investors, and offer diverse opportunities in agriculture, fisheries, tourism, infrastructure, manufacturing, energy and mining to Turkish businesses. President Bio also recalled that since 2018, Sierra Leone and Turkey had entered a new era of heightened diplomatic relations with the establishment of embassies in both Freetown and Ankara, saying that was a bold step forward which the two countries have taken to consolidate and deepen warm bilateral ties and cooperation in several areas. The Sierra Leonean leader also outlined processes in consolidating peace and democracy, ruling justly and investing in people, adding that his government's aspirations were outlined in his government's comprehensive medium-term national development plan that was also aligned with both the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Agenda and the 2063 Agenda for the African Union. President Bio is among some 16 African heads of states who attended the summit, including Felix Tshisekedi, current chair of the AU, Senegal's Macky Sall, Ghana's Nana Akufo-Addo, Rwanda's Paul Kagame, Zimbabwe's Emmerson Mnangagwa, and Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Professor Alpha Tijan Wuri, has explained the strides taking place in the higher education sector to dignitaries at the same Turkey-Africa Summit in Istanbul, Turkey. Explaining the genesis of how education began in Sierra Leone, Professor Wuri recalled about 200 years ago when access to education was limited and Fudabe College was the first in higher education in West Africa.
2018 with the advent of this government, there has been a major heightened improvement in resources in the education sector. We had as 4 years ago, we were talking about the relevance in the national budget. Today we're talking about 22% of the national budget to the sector. It has made a major improvement access. There has been a 20% increase in the school sector, for which now we have something like 2.6 million children in our schools. Two other areas we have looked at. Whilst childhood education was something done mainly in the private sector, 2 years ago, it is now a public intervention. The other area, the other extreme, is what we call radical inclusion as a consequence of war, the consequence of Ebola. We have a lot of people that require special needs attention. We have pregnant women that we have now formally allowed to access formal education. That has made some difference in the
That was the Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Professor Alfa Wuri, on the 3rd Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit in Istanbul. The Minister of Internal Affairs, David Bandanoa, has launched the UN Peacebuilding Fund cross-border project to be implemented between Sierra Leone and Guinea. The project is funded by the UN Secretary General's Peacebuilding Fund and aims at bridging the division between cattle herders and farmers in the sister countries through conflict resolution mechanisms. The event took place at the conference hall of the Internal Affairs Ministry and Gloucester Street in Freetown. Ibrahim Samora has the details.
The project will be specifically implemented in Falaba district on the Sierra Leonean side and Farana prefecture in Guinea. These two districts from either side have one of the largest concentrations of cattle ranches, and reports of conflict between the herders and crops farmers have been evident. This was the reason the UN initiated the project to build cross-border peace and strengthen sustainable livelihoods of cattle herders and crops farmers in the two countries. WFP Country Director Steve Nsumbuka said the UN Peacebuilding Cross-Border Project intends to provide concrete support to address issues of potential destabilization in the border areas of Falaba District and Farana in Guinea. He said WFP's utmost priority is people and communities, promote peace among them and crops farmers and cattle herders to thrive and build livelihoods side by side. Head of Mission IOM Sierra Leone, Dr. James Bongoza, said climate change has altered traditional movement patterns and increased transhuman migration as cattle herders and farmers look for more cultivable land, further increase intercommunal tensions. He said IOM would conduct a comprehensive border and migration assessment to better understand transhuman migratory routes, trends and impact in the border communities during the project implementation. Internal Affairs Minister David Bandanoa said he was with the firm conviction that the implementation of the project, communities in Falaba and Farana would benefit both countries from improved cross-border relations and promote peaceful coexistence between cattle herders, crop farmers through the provision of smart climate livelihoods. WFP, IOM and the Ministry of Internal Affairs would co-implement the project for 24 months and provide livelihood support, establishment of community pasture infrastructures and solar-powered irrigation systems. Ibrahim Samra, Freetown.
SLPP delegates in KAMBIA and PORTLOKO districts have openly thrown their support for Jimmy BATILO SONGA for the position of chairman of the party. They declared this when Mr. Songa met with them to convince them for their votes for the election slated 29th and 30th December. Emmanuel Samura was there for the SLBC and our report.
Mr. BATILO! Mr. BATILO! We stand with you! We stand with you! And we will vote for you!
This was how delegates in KAMBIA and PORTLOKO openly threw their support for BATILO SONGA and promised to vote him as the next chairman of their party. The meetings in PORTLOKO and KAMBIA were originally intended for campaign reasons, but they turned out to be for testimony, where people openly testified of how a man they referred to as the poor man's friend positively impacted their lives. They were of course talking about Jimmy Batilo Songa.
Even though he has not yet occupied the chairman's position, he is helping us greatly. We are confident that when he becomes the chairman, he will do more than what he is currently doing.
The man respects people, you understand? We're not going to go put somebody the way, he becomes somebody where we go worship back.
We have to put someone that cares for and respects the people. Batilo is the only one that possesses such quality. He has been the voice of the voiceless, and we believe that he will move our party forward.
Beat me. I like your hospital. And the only man is Oman Pablo for me. Go put 5 million.
If I am alive today, it is because of Batilo. When I was lying helpless in the hospital, Batilo was the only person who secretly went and paid my hospital bills. He even facilitated for me to be flown out of the country for added medical attention. He is a man that feels for others irrespective of who you are.
In both of the districts, Batilo tailored his message on providing a leadership that will be resilient, transparent and progressive, and to strive to better the lives of party members.
I may for actually get somebody where they talk for una. The only reason why I want that job not to follow gentry. If I want gentry, I will stay as the deputy commissioner of NAPSA. Me woman and MP, then go pay and then they pay me. But who that will talk for una? President, you mean very well for una.
Mr. Songa encouraged the people to be peaceful, give audience and good hospitality to others who will be coming to campaign to them, as they are all members of the SLPP.
The National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate has ended its monitoring of the country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The monitoring exercise was done in 2 phases: stakeholder engagement with collection from data from NACOVAC, Ministry of Health and Sanitation, National Commission for Social Action and Statistics Sierra Leone. Well, following the exercise, the National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate has brought together the stakeholders from the institutions mentioned to report on the findings. Dennis Fraser witnessed the workshop.
National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate, NAMED, has been monitoring several programs and projects by government, including the Midterm National Development Plan, MTNDP, and operates government-wide monitoring and evaluating system. Since March 31st, 2020, when Ministry of Health and Sanitation reported the country's first case of COVID-19, National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate has been following up on government response mechanism. And after a year of battling with the pandemic, it has put together a report on lessons learned. This document seeks to address what went well, what did not go well, what was missing and how it can be improved. Deliberations on the lessons identified will be incorporated into the monitoring report, which will be finished and shared for point correction in the ongoing response and for future actions on any disease of similar nature. National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate is trying to implement a sustainable long-term system that can take care of the ongoing fight and better prepare the nation in the event of future epidemic or pandemic.
Which is launching the response itself. If the government had waited probably a month or 2, we should be in a different position right now. Even the disbelief that there is no COVID here is because the government responded pretty early, closing the borders, instituting other measures like getting everything together, establishing NACOVAC. These are all issues that happen.
From the Ministry of Health and Sanitation's perspective, they hope to use the document to prepare for launching and instituting rapid response, implement control measures, and increase awareness on vaccination.
But what went well
what did not go well, and what we would be able to do to improve on this. And in public health there is a saying, in fact, in peacetime you have to prepare for war. So we are looking at what we have done, and we would be able to...
As Omicron spreads globally, there is growing interest in how governments respond to the novel pandemic, cooperations with partners, and robust action to controlling the spread through vaccination. SABC News Hour, Dennis Fraser reporting.
The Intellectuals Royal Club has donated food and non-food items to beggars along the Central Business District in Freetown. The gesture comes at the organization's 25th anniversary. The food items include rice, onions, tomatoes, cooking oil, among others. The donation catered for beggars at Cotton Tree, Wilberforce Street, Wallace Johnson Street, at the bus station, Eckworth Street, and also the PWD Disabled Camp. Chairman of the Intellectuals Royal Club, Ibrahim Aswari, said they chose to support the poor as a show of love and care. He appreciated God for keeping the club for 25 years, noting that the club has produced eminent members who are now contributing to nation building. The Intellectuals Royal Club was founded at the Milton Magai College, Congo Cross, some 25 years ago, and now has branches in almost all colleges in the country. The National Pentecostal Mission of Sierra Leone has consecrated Bishop Benjamin Boyma Bangura as Bishop of the National Pentecostal Mission. The ceremony took place at the church auditorium at 4th Street in Freetown. Dennis Fraser again. Well, we apologize, we can't bring you that story now. We'll bring it to you as we proceed with this program. Head pastors and members of the King of Kings Evangelical Lutheran Church have dedicated their newly constructed church auditorium. In the dedication service, pastors indicated that despite the obstacles before the completion of the church, God was the focus, and so they are now offering it back to God. Esther Sako witnessed the dedication service and now reports.
People say, it was a moment of celebration for members of the King of Kings Evangelical Lutheran Church as they dedicated the newly erected building. As Christians, they have been fulfilling the Great Commission to win souls, spread the gospel of Jesus Christ across the country, but it has not been easy in all these years due to the construction of the church auditorium.
For years, since 1988, that's what we are here. We are here because the church, the congregation of Kings, was threatened from extinction. The congregation, now called King of Kings, was about to die.
Despite the difficulty, the church was able to conquer the challenges, and so they chose to celebrate with the theme, "The Lord God is both sun and shield." In a sermon, Reverend Mustafa said they needed to be upright with God, as that will make the Lord act like a sun and shield to shower his blessings upon them and the church. He ended by admonishing church members to continue being steadfast in the work of God and continue in the quest of making Christ known. SLBC News, Esther Sako reporting.
The Anglican Diocese of Freetown, the Assistant Men's Fellowship, has celebrated the 9 lessons in Carol on the theme, "Fear not, for I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people." According to the president of the fellowship, Gerald Perry, it was a season of glad tidings, and so there was need to celebrate. The service was held at St. Matthew's Parish at Laka, Esther Sako again.
As the theme for this year states, "Fear not, for I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people." With so much cheerfulness, the Diocesan Men's Fellowship sang hymns of praises to climax their 9 lessons and carol. In line with this verse, the president of the fellowship, Gerald Perry, said, as a union, they have been working together with humility, maintaining unity in the spirit, and will continue spreading the good tidings of Jesus.
This is a festive season, and we are the men of the MC, and this is the time we should do good to one another and make peace within ourselves.
During the celebration, the Vicar St. Matthias Parish, Reverend Lawrence Davis, described the celebration as timely, as it was the season to be jolly.
Tidings of great joy is what, brethren, we are supposed to be expecting. We are supposed to receive even in this season of Advent. What is your tidings? What is your tidings to your family? The message that will transform lives, the message that will bring about revival. That tidings, brethren, is what we need even in our nation.
He ended by admonishing all Christians to enjoy the good tidings for the growth of the church and the world at large. The Diocesan Men Fellowship is a Christian fellowship that was founded in 1998, and it brings together men from different Anglican churches across the country to evangelize and to help support them through fellowship and prayer. SLBC News, Esther Sako reporting.
The Creole Descendants Union has held an interfaith Thanksgiving service at the King Memorial United Methodist Church, seeing them through the year 2021, and for this continue to show religious tolerance, which is highly prized in Sierra Leone. Evelyn Cole reports.
Appreciating God for upkeeping the Union, KDU, and more importantly to portray religious tolerance within the Creole Descendants Union, with this year's theme, Na You No More We Abopan Papa God, a cross-section of the KDU has held their interfaith annual Thanksgiving service at the King Memorial UM Church, Regent Road, whilst the KDU Muslim members held prayers at the Jamiu Salam Mosque, Mountain Court, Fullertown.
How lenient has been with us with COVID for the country. So we thank God every year. We're thanking God for what He will do for us in the future. We have a building project which we need God's hand and blessing into. It's a big project. It needs a lot of money. So we praise and thank God, and we pray for good deeds to meet us so we can finish our project.
The preacher, Reverend Arnold Davis, during his sermon, recounted that the union's solidarity was one that they must always maintain in order to pass its rich culture to its present generation and generations to come. He further advised the union to put God first in all their endeavors and not to allow disunity to break them. The KDU since 1952 continues to reunite its offspring and pass its rich cultural heritage to the younger generations, contributes to nation development and religious tolerance amongst themselves. SLBC News Hour, Evelyn Cole reporting.
The Methodist Church of Sierra Leone has provided food and non-food items worth over 180 million leones to the National Disaster Management Agency in Freetown. Well, here's the report.
Over the years, Methodist Church Sierra Leone has been providing charity support to Sierra Leoneans in times of emergency. like the Motomer disaster, flooding and fire disaster at Susans Bay community. As a result of the fire disaster at the Wellington Old Wharf community, the church, through its partner, the Methodist Church UK, deemed it fit to also lend a hand of goodwill to affected persons. Presenting the items to the Director General, National Disaster Management Agency, Administrative Bishop Reverend Roland Bob Williams said that they asked a church does not countenance the cost or energy put into the donation, but for the purpose of God's blessing, they have thought of such gesture.
The Methodist Church Sierra Leone is not new to giving assistance to supporting disaster issues in Sierra Leone. We've been supporting disaster victims in many different ways, Motomer, flooding, etc., etc. So when this thing happened, we thought as a church that we should not sit back, but come together to see what we can do. It's better late than never. Not because we thought of it lately, but because we are planning. And we have partners also who are abroad in UK, the Methodist Church in UK, who actually came in to be with us in doing this.
The Director General, National Disaster Management Agency, retired Lieutenant General Brahima Sise, said they were pleased to receive the items.
Receiving a series of donations from well-wishers, from organizations, from the international community, from our partners within, since we had that unfaithful incident on the 5th of November.
It is expected that the items provided by Methodist Church Sierra Leone will have a great impact on those hospitalized in different hospitals. SABC News Hour, Dennis Fraser reporting.
Most women in Sierra Leone traditionally have been limited to the kitchen. However, a good number of young women coming up are fighting to gain a more prominent role in society through education and skills development. This is more like the mission of the National Center for Vocational Studies, which has been between women and young girls over the past 38 years in skills empowerment. Fatima Kamara has more.
Since 1983, the National Center for Vocational Studies has been empowering young girls and women in order to become more self-reliant. Giving her opening remarks in their 38th anniversary, Principal of the National Center for Vocational Studies, Madam Mariam Majabi, said they will provide a platform in institutions for all their final year students to gain the experience of what they studied at the center. The center has inaugurated dozens of their students into various student governance positions. One of the teachers, Dora Kanu, said the program was a way to encourage the students. When presenting the badges to the students, one of the ex-students, Elizabeth Koyama, advised the student executive to pay more attention to their academic work and also ensure to work in peace and harmony for the betterment of the school. The Student Union President, Khadija Tubari, thanked and appreciated the effort of the teachers and promised to work hard to take the vocation to higher level during her tenure. For SLBC News, Fatima Kamara reports.
Managing waste has been a serious challenge for the Freetown City Council over the years. But despite efforts to see the capital sanitized, many are still in the habit of disposing waste in an unregulated manner. To help address this challenge, the Freetown City Council has engaged tribal heads to enforce bylaws to keep the city clean. Joseph Tui witnessed the session.
Depositing waste in an unregulated manner poses a serious threat to the health of many Freetonians. Though existing laws seek to curb such negative practice, many still continue to do such. The limited number of metropolitan police cannot man the capital city to enforce bylaws. Thus, the involvement of local authorities to help enforce bylaws was considered as taking the council to the people. Having the tribal heads into ensuring sanitation is maintained in the capital, Mayor Yvonne Akisoya was confident would be sustainable as in line with the Transform Freetown initiative.
In terms of effectiveness, we focus on changing behaviors with the Cleaner Zone competition, which is about incentivizing, but from an enforcement perspective, we need more hands on deck. And working with the chiefs gives us that additional coverage. So in every community now, the chiefs have been empowered. We've delegated authority to them.
Those who will be found wanting will be paying fines to the tribal heads. She explained more on how the initiative will be carried out at ward and zonal levels.
Back to council, we've delegated a specific level of authority to the chiefs. So at the sub-chief level, the chiefs can fine 100,000 leones for sanitation offenses, and they will collect that money themselves and they will use it to build enforcement at the local level. That's really key because we have between 1.2 to 1.5 million people in our city, and we only have 150 Met Police. So as you can imagine, that's on average one Met Police for about 100,000 people.
Tribal heads were appreciative of the idea, registering that they have crucial roles in ensuring sanitation is maintained in Freetown. They pledged commitment to implement the bylaws fully. SLBC, Joseph Toure reporting.
The National Pentecostal Mission of Sierra Leone has consecrated Bishop Benjamin Boima Bangura as Bishop of the National Pentecostal Mission to serve in Sierra Leone and the sub-region. The ceremony took place at the church auditorium on 4th Street in Freetown. Dennis Fraser was there.
The service, presided over by Bishop Thomas Wilson, was graced with the presence of senior men and women of God from various denominations, the Mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Akisoya, and other important dignitaries. In his statement of declaration, the Bishop Thomas Wilson assured the congregation that Bishop Benjamin Boima Bangura has been duly and lawfully elected to be a bishop of the National Pentecostal Mission to serve in Sierra Leone and the sub-region. He noted that the new bishop was a man of unquestionable spirituality. Consecrated Bishop Benjamin Boima Bangura has served in various capacities in public service, such as National Confectionery Company, Evangelical College of Theology, Jue, and a host of others. In his address and acceptance speech, Bishop Benjamin Boima Bangura said he was ever grateful, having served humanity in various capacities, and was now in full-time work in advancing the kingdom of God. He also thanked members of National Pentecostal Mission and a host of other people for making his divine assignments much easier. He promised to do his utmost best not to disappoint God and the people who have called him to lead.
The height by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night. The journey to this stage was not smooth. There were many obstacles, and all of what we see today is God's glory in a man's life that has its own history. There is a saying by a wise man that there is no general with a star that do not have a scar. I owe it all to God, and to him be the glory.
In his sermon, Reverend Francis Mambu said it was a new dawn for the National Pentecostal Mission, and for that the Lord has made a way in the wilderness for his people. He also called on members to acknowledge God for the many challenges he has took them through. He urged them to forget about lost opportunities in the past and focused on what the Lord was about to do for them.
The best way to live is you live by your life.
And what do you for do for us?
You lead the people by your life.
You there before them.
You don't lead people by God.
Not so by God.
Jesus Christ. In 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. He said, be ye followers of me.
Follow me.
Right?
Yes.
As evil as in Jesus Christ leads the way.
SABC News Hour, Dennis Fraser reporting.
As a way to address the sufferings of those who find it difficult to access health services, the Co-Descendants Union has undertaken free screening, treatment of malaria, diabetes and other illnesses to residents of Wilberforce community. Evelyn Cole reports.
Over 100 residents of Wilberforce community have received free medical treatment from the team of the Creole Descendants Union. Free screening and treatment for diseases such as malaria, breast cancer, diabetes, dental and eye care were done for the aged, youth and children. According to the health pillar lead in the union, Matron Waltina Cummins, for the past 3 years, such medical services have been provided for various communities in Freetown. Getting people to always come out and receive treatment was a concern for her.
The ways we can stay well is by annual checkups or even quarterly checkups and things like dewormers, pain medicine, things like that. So now that makes so we can, because we know say economically there is a lot of challenges in the communities.
Councillor Ward 437 Aminata Jibril Sise described the venture as very timely for the community, especially during this festive season.
How difficult it is for one to get medical attention in this country. So if we have their attention to give us free health attention, free health treatment, I think it's laudable.
The Creole Descendants Union is an offshoot of settlers which was formed in 1952 to reunite its offsprings and pass its rich culture and heritage to the younger generation, and most importantly, contribute to nation development. SLBC News are Evelyn Cole reporting.
The Creole Descendants Union Global has also provided free healthcare treatments to community people both in the east and western parts of Freetown. Our reporter Mohammed Kuruma was there.
Health indeed is wealth, and everyone's contribution towards developing the health sector is needed. Community people are in dire need of free healthcare facility to keep their bodies healthy. This goodwill by Creole Descendants Union Global to offer free treatment to some community people in the east end and western parts of Freetown was an attempt to complement government's effort towards improving the country's health sector.
Well, it's a goal and a mission and the vision of the Creole Descendants Union to help give back to our people. And we're not only helping Creoles, by the way, but the idea for us is to promote our culture, our heritage, and definitely our humanity to people of this country.
These medical personnel from both home and abroad who spearheaded the process stated that they were delighted to give back to society. Beneficiaries of the free healthcare treatment expressed gratitude for the gesture.
I appreciate the program because I don't get any help now.
I appreciate this goodwill very much because it's really helpful to us. I hope to benefit more from it in subsequent years.
I hope for the participate because it's a very, very good opportunity for we.
I feel good because an opportunity to the one that will not get money.
I feel good because it is an opportunity for the less privileged. It is actually an opportunity for me specifically because I have tested my sugar level. I pray God increase their provision.
And I pray God for more where God provide for them.
People with high blood pressure, diabetes and various eye infections were the ones that were highly catered for. SLBC, Mohamed Kouma reporting.
Meanwhile, Christiana Kachope of Wilberforce, humanitarian and member of the Creole Descendants Union, London, has supported all people at the King George's home. Madam Wilberforce, who was marking his 72nd birthday, spared some time to dine and wine with his peers at King George's home. Jonathan Turner reports.
The 72nd Natal Day celebration of Christian Akashope Wilberforce of the Creole Descendants Union, London, with the aged at King George's home, was a means of expanding
her strong bond with the aged at the home. As a philanthropist, she has been rendering humanitarian aid to the home and other people as his community grafting.
For them to know that they are not alone and people are not neglecting them, we are thinking about them and we also have them into consideration. We know that they are one of us and one day I will be like them. I don't know who will look after me. I don't know how I will end. So I just decided to come and mingle with them and celebrate this birthday with them.
Members of the King George's home were very appreciative of the move by Madam Wilberforce to dine and wine with them on her special day.
It means a lot to me. It means a lot because this is not the first time. We have a lot of KBU members coming here to do celebration and also they are sponsoring the home.
Over the years, Madam Wilberforce and her Creole Descendants Union, London, have always helped the aged at the King George's home with medical supply, foodstuff, finance and some electronic devices such as televisions, fans and refrigerators. The 72nd Natal Day celebration of Madam Christina was an attempt to complement the King George Home's efforts towards improving their health statuses. Old people are often neglected in society. Most times, such attitudes lead old people to an untimely death. For SLBC News, Jonathan Turner reporting.
SOS Children's Village Sierra Leone and the UK-based donor, the Great Football Giveaway, is distributing footballs to schools, orphanages and deprived communities across the country. In Makeni, a ceremony was held at the Makeni City Council Hall and several stakeholders from the city, wherein officials from the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education were in attendance. Hassan Fori sent in this report from Makeni.
Speaking to SLBC, the Fund Development and Communications Manager, SOS Children's Village, Henry Sheku, said he received 3,000 footballs from the UK-based donor, and that distribution of the consignment will be made at various locations across the country. He said in conjunction with the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, careful selection of institutions in dire need of the kit were made that included orphanages.
So today we did Makeni for distribute a total of 600 footballs.
We are here today to distribute a total of 600 footballs to schools and communities for Makeni and its surroundings. We targeted about 45 schools. Some are deprived of their talents because they don't have access to footballs.
And they will be deprived of the right to play, or they get their talents away. It's not going to be sure because they don't have access to football.
Mr. Sheko said the gesture did not come from the blues, but was actualized through a conducted needs assessment and a proposal dished out to partners stating the needs of schools. He said the support was to guarantee the right to play and to develop the talent of pupils, adding that their aim was to have a child-friendly center where children would play and meet with psychosocial experts.
One of the things that we serve on and we need assessment to say, lucky. Now, people not
one thing that came out lacking in our needs assessment was the unavailability of counselors to mentor and guide people. Some have great talent, but lose them because of that.
It will be a long way for ensuring people the skills and talent they don't develop in this country.
The head of Physical Health Education Division in the Northeast region, Baishe Kawuri, said the balls came at a time when they were needed most, citing the ongoing inter-school league and its challenges. They said the support was a boost to the PHE department and the ministry as a whole.
Then give 5 balls and 2 inflators, pump.
To give 5 footballs and 2 inflators per school made we in the PHE division and the ministry proud. We have also appealed for volleyball, games tunic and the likes. And we are happy, they were happy for the turnout.
And they feel very much impressed and say ever where them be the worker. And they give them the most welcome where they see the actual school picking them and then see the actual felting of the picking them for the supply where they give.
He said the support was a boost to the PHE department and the ministry as a whole. He called on other partners to emulate the same, mostly in the area of male football. Beneficiaries expressed appreciation to SOS for the gesture, pledging they would make the best out of it. For Newshour, Hassan Forekama reporting from Makeni.
Now on the SLBC with me, Kojo Kwafo. It's now time for some stories making the headlines around Africa. This week, the European Union imposed sanctions on Wagner Group, a Russian mercenary organization accused of committing human rights abuses in the Central African Republic and elsewhere. The EU has said it will no longer train CAR government soldiers because of their links to Wagner. In Africa, its fighters are also involved in Libya, Sudan and Mozambique and look likely to play a role in Mali. The mercenaries are there to support President Faustin Archange Touadéra in the fight against rebels who still control many parts of the country despite recent government advances. The country has been embroiled in civil unrest since President Francois Bozize was overthrown in 2013. Hundreds of Senegalese on Friday took to the streets of the country's capital, Dakar, in a protest accusing the government of subjecting opposition figures to lengthy detentions. Many of the protesters directed their anger at President Macky Sall, who's been accused of interfering in judicial cases to suit his political interests. An activist of protest says he had joined the protest in solidarity with the citizens' demands concerning a two-tier justice system, a justice system that refuses to be calm and serious when it comes to dealing with cases concerning activists and opponents. Algeria defeated Tunisia by scoring 2 extra-time goals to lift the FIFA Arab Cup trophy at the Al Bayt Stadium in Qatar in a tight competition between the two North African giants. The goals by substitute Amir Sayoud and Yassin Brahimi gave Algeria the last-minute lead, adding the Arab crown to the African Cup of Nations title Algeria won in 2019, which it is set to defend in Cameroon come next month. Sayoud, 31, made his international debut in Algeria's opening game of the tournament, but did not play again until coming on just past the hour mark in the finals. His 99th-minute shot gave Tunisian goalkeeper Moise Hassan no chance and turned Suad into an instant national hero. And those were the stories from around Africa. Let's now go over to our entertainment desk.
Welcome to the Entertainment Desk. I am Maria Tudukuri. In entertainment headlines today, top model of the world is at a press conference and unveiling. Darren Coker is a popular pageant trainer in the country and he is the official trainer of the top model of the world, Sierra Leone. He said that people have always looked at beauty pageantry as a stepping stone to nightlife, but emphasized that it's about the brains.
Here as a trainer, it's been very, very much hard because changing the concept of beauty pageants from what people have been looking at before, but now we are changing it because people thought beauty pageant was a stepping stone to prostitution activities. We are here pushing a case across, saying no to prostitution and activity, but beauty pageants. And secondly, beauty pageant is not about facial or body stature. It's about brains.
Tirina Golson is a beauty queen with many hats. She said the reason for this event was to bring economic growth in Sierra Leone by identifying youths that have talents, groom them, and open doors of opportunities to our local content for it to look good.
The name is Tiglia Golson and I've been into pageantry for the past 20 years. I started early since school age. I've won titles like inter-school, universities, Miss UMC, Miss Charity, oh my God, and Miss Freetown, Miss Sierra Leone, and then it went further with international pageantry that has to do with I was the first to represent Sierra Leone Miss World 2008, and then World Galaxy for Miss World 2008 I was semi-finalist, And then for Miss World Galaxy, I was first runner-up 2010 in Germany, and then I headed for top model of the world. See how we can bring economic growth in Sierra Leone. Foster economic growth is to first of all identify youths that have talent that we can mold as entrepreneurs. There should be this future of ethics in them. Educationally, they should be inclined, and they should be audible. They should be ready to promote each and every brand that will be on board to promote the event, because there are going to be pitch sessions.
Ethics, pre-screening, innovations are some of the things that they will be looking for this competition. Interested competitors, both male and female, must be between the ages of 18 to 26 years, must be of a height of 5'10" and above for the height requirement. Forms are now out and available for 100,000 leones, and the auditions would be on the 15th of January 2022. But all those who buy the forms would go through a training slated for Tuesday, or starting on Tuesday the 21st of December 2021 at Family Kingdom from 5 to 7 p.m. And then all those who went through the training would be auditioned on the 15th of January next month to pick out who will officially compete.
The interested contestants are being trained before we can do auditions. We just can't do auditions like that.
Thanks for joining me. That's all we have in this edition of Entertainment News. I have been Maria Tudukuri. Keep watching the SLBC.
Well, from entertainment, let's find out what's happening in the sports world.
In this edition of the latest sport news with me, Mohamed Lamin Toure. In recent times, there have been many controversies surrounding the relationship between Hawa and Musa Tumbo. There are concerns as to whether the relationship between the two is a genuine one. The engagement between the two couples will now put to rest these numerous concerns. Frances Bernard has been following the event.
Bull Ranger striker Musa Noah Kamara, popularly known as Musa Tumbo, has engaged his girlfriend Hawa in a colorful ceremony held at Kausu Street, Bo City. The ceremony attracted players, football fans, administrators, and executive members of the Bull Rangers Football Club. The prolific goal puncher for Bull Rangers did promise and has finally delivered by engaging the love of his life, Hawa Tumbo.
In news, the FIFA Players Status Committee has, in a correspondence to the SLAFA, issued clearance of eligibility to the Sierra Leone Football Association for Stephen Roy Coker, Issa Kalon, and Jonathan Mosse to play for the representative team of SLAFA with immediate effect. The decision follows requests made by the SLAFA for change of association of Coker and Kalon, seeking clarification of the status of Mosse. In the international scene, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has agreed a partnership with Sky Sports, which will see the channel broadcast all 52 games of the African Cup of Nations live. In January and February, Sky will cover the Cameroon-based tournament that has been postponed since last summer due to COVID-19. That's it for Sports Updates. I am Mohamed Lamin.
And now to end weekend news, a quick look at the main points again. President Bio has presented a strong case for investment opportunities in Sierra Leone at the 3rd Africa-Turkey Summit. The President called for the launch of a new stage in Turkey's relations with the African Union and African countries. The International Organization for Migration in Sierra Leone has highlighted the dangers of illegal migration to mark this year's United Nations International Migrants Day. And the Sierra Leone People's Party delegates in KAMBIA and PORTLOKO districts have openly thrown their support for Jimmy BATILO SONGA for the position of chairman of the party. Well, that's it for Weekend News. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to the public broadcast of the SLBC if you can. I'm Kojo Kwafo. Goodbye.